most people think of fentanyl, they think of it as being a new thing, but it's not really a new thing, right? Wasn't it? It was invented in the 50s?
Yeah. It was invented by a Belgian chemist. He was trying to find something that worked better than morphine in hospitals.
But doesn't morphine work really good?
Well, it does, but for things like, traditionally, people have gotten a lot of mileage out of morphine. But for things like open heart surgery, he wanted something that came on really fast and it lasted a long time. And so he manipulated the chemical structure of morphine, came up with fentanyl. It was a blockbuster drug, and still is used in hospitals all the time. It's used, there's the fentanyl patch for people with cancer, chronic pain. And then when you get a colonoscopy, they give you fentanyl before that. And then women who have epidurals during childbirth, that I believe is usually fentanyl. So it's still an important hospital drug.
And so how did it come to be that this drug from the 1950s sort of reemerges? And it reemerged during the rave scene? Is that what it was?
It was actually before that. It first started killing people a little bit at the beginning of the 80s. And nobody knew what it was.
And it was from China then as well?
No. Back then, it was these kind of mystery chemists. These guys there was this one guy in particular called George Marquardt, and he was like a genius maniac who read all the chemical literature. He learned about fentanyl. He's like, I should try to make this. I bet it would be a hit with recreational users. And so he started making it, and it stumped authorities because these people would die. They would have track marks in their arms like it was heroin. They would have syringes, but they tested them afterwards, and there's no heroin in their system.
So then the internet comes along. And through the internet, people started scouring the medical literature and scientific literature and chemical literature, and then they find fentanyl.
Exactly. Yeah, because back in the old days, scientists would publish a paper. They're trying to find a new drug that they can patent. Say the drug isn't a hit, no one wants to buy it. It goes on some dusty university shelf, never is heard from again. But in the internet age, all of these papers start going online. And so these rogue chemists that I reference in the title of my book, they start finding particular scientists who work on the type of drugs they're interested in. And then they start going through all of their papers, and they pick out drugs that they think would work recreationally. And so when fentanyl first came out, it was totally legal. You could walk around with a giant bag of it. They couldn't do anything. And so it set in motion this sort of cat and mouse game between law enforcement and drug chemists, which really still persists to this day, although mostly in China now. People prefer heroin to fentanyl. Like I've heard it described as more soulful, people say. But the thing is, you can't even get heroin in most parts of America, like pure heroin anymore. It's all cut with fentanyl.
Well, you got to go straight to Afghanistan, right?
That's probably Mexico.